Welcome to the mini lecture on audience analysis. Today we'll be discussing the importance of audience analysis, of always keeping the audience in mind. We'll also talk about some reasons to conduct audience analysis and some specific audience analysis techniques. Now, this lecture is a little bit long. It's about 10 minutes, so I'm going to split it into two parts. It'll be part one and part two, and it'll probably be about 5 minutes a piece. Let's go back and talk about selecting a topic. When we met last time, I said that in selecting a topic needs to be interesting to you and interesting to your audience. When we discussed selecting and narrowing topics, we said that there are some topics that are universally interesting. That is, they met unmet needs. We talked about the crazy lady astronaut that met the needs of just about everybody. It was dramatic and had sex and intrigue and just addressed the human condition. But what if we wanted to tailor our speech or narrow it down to a specific audience? Well, then we would need to do audience analysis. We would need to find some things out about a particular audience that we are going to address. Why do we do audience analysis? Well, we partially answered this to find out the needs of our particular audience. Audience analysis gives us a better chance of achieving our goal. Audience analysis also helps us to reduce speech anxiety. One of the things that we've been talking about in the last couple of class periods. Think about it. If you know what your audience is interested in, then you can relate to them, and it increases your ethos or your credibility. Also, if you have an idea about what your audience knows, you can sound knowledgeable rather than non-knowledgeable. You can sound open-minded rather than intolerant. It helps you as a speaker. Let's use a more contemporary example. The NFL. I'm a big NFL fan. I'm a huge San Francisco 49ers fan. Boo. The 49ers lost on Sunday. So I hope none of you are New York Giants fans out there. We will not get along. Well, we'll get along anyway. But anyway, the Sunday NFL experience is one that most Americans participate in. It's a huge audience, and there are big demographics associated with this audience. But who is the dominant audience for a regular Sunday NFL game? Well, we know it's men. It's men 18 to 54. And we see that reflected in the ads that are placed in the game. We see trucks, we see beer, we see bikini girls, we see things that are male dominated. Now, of course, we have a huge football game coming up in about a week and a half, and that is the Super Bowl, which is it's a typical Sunday football game, but it's a very different audience. We know that it is a national holiday practically. We've got men, we've got women, we've got children. It's a big audience, and we see that these are different types of appeals. We still have some of the same. We still have some beer commercials. We still have some truck commercials. We still have bikini girls, but we also have appeals to different audiences. We have humor. We have things that appeal to women. We have things that appeal to children. It's a different audience. And how do we know this? Because advertisers have done audience analysis. So there are different types of commercials in the Super Bowl than they are in a typical NFL Sunday game. If we think about it, what is our goal for audience analysis? What do we hope to accomplish? Well, really, if you think about it, we want to find out, just as advertisers do, what are the values, what are the beliefs, and what are the attitudes of a particular audience. Now, let's unpack these terms. Values. Values are the code that we live by. It can be moral, it can be secular, it can be religious, but it's very firmly entrenched. Maybe I believe in nonviolence. I'm a pacifist. This is who I am. I abhor violence. Maybe my belief structure, which is informed by my value system, is that I believe in nonviolence. I believe that all violent acts are wrong. And my attitudes, which are my predispositions towards my whether I believe something or not believe something, whether I accept something or not accept something. If I maybe value nonviolence, I dislike or like or accept or not accept certain things. And maybe if it's violent, I won't even look at it because that is my predisposition towards it. I value non-pacifism. I believe in nonviolence, and my attitude, my predisposition towards this topic is that I just don't even want to look at it if it's violent. So let's put violence, or rather violence. We don't want to put violence into practice. I was going to say, let's look at values, beliefs, and attitudes as we put it into practice. Maybe I'm a video game maker. Maybe I'm Sony. Maybe I'm Microsoft. The dominant, video game makers are Nintendo, and I am trying to market towards kids, and I want to sell video games. Well, kids have disposable cash today more than they ever have before, but they still rely upon their parents. The parents have the cash, and maybe the parents are controlling what the kids are buying. And maybe a parent has a value system like I described. Maybe they're pacifists. Maybe they believe that violence is wrong. Maybe they have an attitude or a predisposition towards video games that says, I won't even allow this in my house because I believe that all video games are violent and violence is wrong and I will not even approach it. What if you're a video game company and you have to try to market towards this type of parent? How do you go ahead and approach this? Well, certainly you don't attack the value system and you don't attack the belief structure, but rather you go after that attitude because it's only a predisposition. It is the most pliable thing that we have. You might go state that, hey, did you know that all video games are not violent? As a matter of fact, some of the best video games out there are educational video games. Heck, even the military, astronauts, people who are learning how to fly, video games are educational. They're not all violent. And so would you agree with me that not all video games are violent? And this is how we would attack this, but we would not attack the values, we would not attack the beliefs, and but we would attack the attitudes. And so this is an important thing to know when addressing an audience, understanding their value system, their belief structure, and their attitudes. So we will end this on the part one and come back and discuss part two when we return.